Hi YouTube, it's Pen Paper 19, back for day 6 of the Colorvent calendar. Just a little note, yesterday for day 5 I used Rosette Nebula. I really love this ink for everyday writing. However, I did want to note something that did happen. This is my 2024 cousin in the old Tomoe River paper. This is my 2025 cousin with the new paper. There is a difference I've noticed, other than some slight, obviously I mentioned before that the shading is slightly different on the papers, but this is my 2024. This is the Rosette Nebula from yesterday. I will show you the other side. I'm just being careful because I use this, so there is absolutely no bleed through at all. This is the stripe right there. You can see the ghosting maybe, but no bleed through. That's the 2024. In the new Tomoe River paper, I am actually really sad to see that the same amount of ink used did cause bleed through. I don't know if you can tell, there are these, especially here where there was a lot of ink, and I certainly had a splotch like that on the other paper as well. You can see these micro, almost freckles of ink, I'd say, that have bled through. So there is obviously something different about this paper. I'm going to just have to be a little bit more careful. It seems that this paper is just the tiniest bit maybe more prone to bleed through. Okay, so moving on to day 6. Here we go. Kilonova. Kilonova is a color inspired by the intense explosion that occurs when two neutron stars merge. Okay, I feel like when my son was little, or younger at least, he was super into space, and we read all these books about space. And I feel like I knew more about space at that time than I ever had in my entire life, before or since, to be honest. I feel like maybe a lot of parents experienced that, but we certainly did. Okay, so this is Kilonova. It looks like honestly, it looks like a blue, but like a purple tone blue, like a deep purple tone blue. So let's see what this looks like in a swatch card. Oof, this looks like it's going to be a really, okay, this is super saturated ink. I'm going to try to pick up a little less ink, or that's just going to bleed straight on through in my notebooks. Okay, this is ridiculously opaque. I mean, like, seemingly completely covered the lines in that ink bottle. Wow. This looks like it's going to be very much a staining ink, and I'm going to have to be careful about that. Wow. Yeah, this is a really saturated ink. I suspect this is going to be shading, so I'm curious to see what it looks like when it dries. I almost can't even say. I think it's a super dark purple. Let me pull up what colors I think I have that are closest to this. All right, let me put this here. Okay, I'm going to take you through a journey of a few of my purples here. This is definitely a purple, definitely a lot of shading. This is going to take eons to dry, I can already tell. So this is the Diatramentis Document ink, so that's the permanent ink in violet. This is obviously deeper, has a deeper tone. This is lighter, a little bit more, I'd say, violet-y lavender tone, but same color family. Same with the Diatramentis Alexander Hamilton, which I actually really like. These are actually pretty darn close. This one here has a little bit more of a magenta, maybe a little bit more of a red added than the Kilonova, but again, it shades similarly. Oh, not, okay, let me pass the Frosted Orchid. Here's the Diamine Purple Bow. Again, Purple Bow has a little more, maybe, it's not quite the same, but similar. Once you start getting into Lamy Azurite is much cooler, actually. Let me pass the Mistletoe. Oh, Winter Miracle. Oh, I think that's it, except for this one that I just want to show you because it's another Colorverse Quasar that I remember when I first got Quasar trying it, and I remember thinking that actually Quasar, this ink shades too much for me. There is a point at which an ink shades too much and is too prone to smudging, just never really fully seems to dry, at least on the papers that I use. Quasar is cooler. I don't know if you can tell in the writing sample that Quasar has a cooler tone, but they are similar, especially, again, these colors seem to shade very similarly. So anyways, that's Kilonova. I am scared to try these in particularly the new Tomorrow River paper, but let's try it in 2024. I'm pretty darn confident that it'll be just fine in the old paper. And you know, honestly, I'm less concerned. I care a little less about, I guess, bleed through in this notebook. It's almost the end of December and I'm almost on to a new cousin, so I'm not as concerned. But I do think, I can't imagine a more shading ink. So I feel like if I were gonna test a shading ink on this notebook, this is about as saturated and prone to bleed through as I feel like I'm gonna get. So I guess it's a good test. I am terrified of what this is going to do. Let's go ahead and okay, so here's Kilonova on old Tomorrow River paper. Very, very dark, lots of shading. I checked, no bleed through on this at all. Let's see what's starting to develop here. I would be very surprised if I didn't get some bleed through. Yep, it's not fully dry obviously, but you can start seeing already the freckles of bleed through on the, it's in the January 7th square. Don't want to let go of this paper because it's gonna leak through, but if you look at the day 7 square, you can see the swatch. And on the left, bottom left side of that swatch, that is definitely bleeding through, and it's bleeding through more and more as we sit. And so like as we can almost watch it develop into a bleed through. So Kilonova definitely bleeds through. Do not paint with this on the Sandsman Tomorrow River paper. And let me show you a writing sample. Okay, here's the writing sample for Kilonova. Obviously very readable, very dark, very saturated. This is old Tomorrow River paper, looks fine. Has your expected ghosting, no bleed through. Yeah, I don't think I'll end up using this ink very much. I don't like inks that are pure shading metallic monsters. They are not very great everyday pens for me, where I can just write and close my book and go. So I probably won't use this. It is a nice saturated color, and if you like shading, this one shades. So that is Kilonova. I will see you tomorrow for day 7. Bye.